Hello and welcome back to my channel, Board Games in a Minute, though this video is going to be longer than a minute because I am going to go over games that I think can be played in the month of October to get you into the spooky spirit, right, Dobby? So maybe you can see I'm wearing my Hocus Pocus t-shirt and I've got on some witchy hat earrings. And I've created a list of games to get you into the spooky spirit. So my list of games is not a top 10 list. There were so many games for me to choose from. So I split them up into categories. And though there are some games that could have fit into more than one category, I had to be selective because I didn't want games coming up twice. So I just put them into the categories that I thought that they would best fit into. So here are games that I think will get you into the spooky spirit in the month of October. Enjoy! So the first category on my list is called So You Want to Be a Librarian. So this is games that take place in a library that will get you into the spooky spirit. And first up on the list, and again in no specific order, is Athenium. So Athenium Mystic Library came out in 2020. It is for 2 to 5 players. It's designed by Les Ateliers. And the artist is Veronika Fedorova, and it's published by Renegade Games Studios. So I will just read you the description. The magic exam is tomorrow, so you and your classmates head to the library. With the knock of a magic wand on a precise stack of books, ta-da, you can learn an entire subject in an instant. In exchange for this after-hours intrusion, however, the security guard asks you to clean up and organize the library shelves. So you roll up your sleeves and get to work. So you are arranging books in your own bookcase in a certain way in order to hopefully also decorate it with candles and get the most points in order to win this game. So it will definitely get you into the spooky spirit, and I will just show you some of the components. So here are the bookcases that each player is going to have, adorned with beautiful cobwebs. And this is the main board, which will keep track of points and have some cards down here. And then there's books of all different colors. There's pink, there's green, there's purple. And yeah, these do come out. This is pretty cool. These, it holds all the books for you. And they have such cool titles. Like this one is called, let's see, here's one called Cyclops. Here's another one called So You Want to Raise a Basilisk. So definitely will get you into the spooky spirit. And let me just show you some of the candles that you can adorn your library shelves with. So yeah, so it is a really good puzzly game in which you are trying to place books into your own bookcase, and it will definitely get you into the spooky spirit. So if you like libraries like I do, then this is one I will definitely recommend to you. Next up in the library category, we have Ex Libris, which is a 2017 game designed by Adam P. McIver and illustrated by Jackie Davis and published by Renegade Games Studios. It is for 1 to 4 players. This is a worker placement, tile placement game, in which also like a set collection game. So you are a collector of rare and valuable books in a thriving gnomish village, and the mayor and village council have announced an opening for the Grand Librarian, which is a very prestigious position. But in order to outshine your competition, you need to expand your personal library by sending out your trusty assistants into the village to find the most impressive tomes. And of course, whoever has the most points at the end of the game will win. So the main board is like this, but you are going to have different worker placement locations. So let me just show you what some of those look like. And the books will definitely get you into the spooky spirit because the books have really cool titles, and one of the most fun parts about this game is just reading all of the fun book titles in this game. So like, for example, here is Sorcery for Stamp Collectors, Spectacular Sports Spells, The Sorcerer's Guide to Salad Dressing. So as you're playing this game, you will see so many cool titles on the various books that you are trying to assort into your shelves in the most best way possible in order to get the most points. So it is definitely a game that will get you into the spooky spirit, and if you like libraries, then I highly recommend that you check out this game for the month of October. Next up in the library category, we have a game which I absolutely adore, Mythic Mischief. This is a 2022 game designed by Max Anderson, Zach Dixon, and Austin Harrison, published by IV Games. It is for 1 to 4 players. So in this game, you play as a faction of Mythic Manor students, competing to get as many of the other students caught by the Tome Keeper as you can without getting caught yourself. So each faction is going to have its own unique abilities that are associated with their Mythic faction to move around the board, move around other factions into the path of the Tome Keeper, and even alter the course of the Tome Keeper by moving bookshelves. So whoever gets to 10 Mythic points first will win this game. So this game has really cool factions, but let me just show you the main board first. So here is the library board, and in the center of the library you are going to have the Tome Keeper. So let me just show you some of the faction boards. So you've got zombies, you've got vampires, monsters, trolls, ghosts, yep, and wizards and witches. So here is the Tome Keeper, and here are a bunch of bookshelves which you will place out onto the board, and they are going to be upright onto the board, and you are going to be trying to manipulate the bookshelves as well as the Tome Keeper and the other factions in order to get to 10 points first. So here, let me just show you some of the components. So these are the witches, and you will have your own dice, although they are not regular dice. They have certain numbers on them to keep track of your abilities, which you will be keeping track of on your own board and adjusting as necessary. It is a really good game. To me, it feels like chess in a library with magical abilities. So I really love this game, and if you are into libraries and you are into mythic monsters and stuff like that, you definitely need to check out Mythic Mischief. So, do you wish you were a witch? Then I have the games for you. So first up, we are going to talk about Witch's Brew and Broom Service. So Witch's Brew is an out-of-print game, but it was re-implemented into Broom Service. So we will be focusing on Broom Service since Witch's Brew is more difficult to get your hands on, but if you can, I highly recommend it. The re-implementation does have a board. The original Witch's Brew does not have a board, but they play very similarly. So Broom Service was published in 2015. It is for 2 to 5 players, designed by Andreas Pelikan and Andrew Pfister, illustrated by Vincent Dutrait, and published by Ravensburger Games. So in this game, you are trying to score the most victory points by delivering potions via broom service throughout the magical realm. So it has an adorable board. I absolutely really love this board. Just check it out. And it's got really cute potions in very Halloween-esque colors. And then check out some of the witches. So this is a hand management game in which you want to play the witch, that you're playing at the correct time in order to hopefully go to the locations you need to go to and perform the actions that you need to perform. So there is also bluffing involved in this game. And check out some of these wands and some of these weather tiles, which will be affecting gameplay. So if you want to be a witch, then definitely check out Broom Service. Next up in the So You Want to Be a Witch category, we have Whirling Witchcraft. Again, illustrated by my favorite board game artist, Weberson Santiago. So this is for 2 to 5 players. It was a 2021 game designed by Eric Anderson Sundin and published by Alderac Studios. Alderac Games. So in this game, you are a powerful witch and you are brewing potions, but you want to make your opponent's cauldrons overflow. And the first player to overflow their nemesis' cauldron with enough ingredients will win. So you are going to be, collecting ingredients for your cauldron, but also giving ingredients to your opponents. And it comes with these cauldrons, which you have to assemble, and mine are just falling apart right now, unfortunately. Maybe I should glue them. But you have your cauldrons in which you will be storing your ingredients, and I will show you the artwork because I absolutely adore the artwork on these cards. So yeah, so you are trying to fulfill different kinds of recipe cards and make your nemesis potions cauldrons overflow. And so it comes with a bunch of different ingredient cubes as well. So if you want to be a witch, then definitely check out Whirling Witchcraft. In the So You Want to Be a Witch category, we have The Quacks of Quedlinburg. So this is a 2018 game for 2 to 4 players designed by Wolfgang Warsch and illustrated by Dennis Lahausen and Wolfgang Warsch and published by Schmidt-Spiel Games. So in this game, you are a quack doctor or a witch of sorts, and you are going to have ingredients that you're pulling out of your bag and putting into your cauldron in order to come up with these like magical potions to heal people. But you don't want your cauldron to explode, which it can if you pull out too many of these bad ingredients. So just check out this board, and this is going to track the various rounds, and check out these ingredients. Now these ingredients I did put into, upgraded tokens, which I purchased from Etsy. So you can, have some nice, really chunky ingredients in your bags to use, which I think enhances gameplay a lot. So there are a variety of ingredients of different colors, and you're going to have rubies, and you are going to have rat tails as well in this game, so it will definitely get you into the spirit. So each player is going to have some bags, which I believe I have in the expansion box, and you're going to be deciding which ingredients you want to purchase at the end of a round that hopefully you can pull out of the bag without exploding and get along the farthest in your cauldron and buy more and more ingredients as the game progresses. So this is a push your luck game, but it is a lot of fun, and it comes with different gameplay modes, and I highly recommend it if you want to be a witch and get into the spooky spirit. So let's talk about worker placement games, and first up in this category is one of my all-time favorite worker placement games, and maybe one of my all-time top 10 games. It's Abomination: The Heir of Frankenstein, which is a 2019 game for 2 to 4 players designed by Dan Blanchett and illustrated by Mikhail Palamarchuk and Tony Sart and published by Plaid Hat Games. So in this game, you are scientists in 19th century France trying to get all the body parts and necessary materials in order to construct your own monsters and bring them to life. It is a fantastic game to get you into the spooky spirit. So each player is going to have their own board in which you are going to keep track of your body parts because they will start to decompose. You need to be able to refrigerate those body parts. And then you will have different locations on this board in where you can get those body parts that you need. So this, even the whole aesthetic of this game, it just screams Halloween. So yeah, it is a really fantastic game, and let me just show you some of the body parts. So they're not terribly gruesome. So if you feel like you can't play this game because of how gruesome it is, it's really not that bad. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff going on in this game. You're trying to get different cards, different body parts, and trying to refrigerate those body parts. You're rolling dice and trying to electrify or, make your monsters come alive. It is a fantastic game. So if you are into the whole Frankenstein story, then you definitely want to check out this game. Next up in the worker placement category, we have Monsters on Board. This is a 2022 game for 1 to 4 players designed by Alexander Mikic, Ivo Neskovic, and Samuel Petreski, and illustrated by the Micho, published by Final Frontier Games. So in this game, you are trying to, well, I'll just read the description. It's close to midnight, 1 week before the Blue Monster Mixer at Spook Manor. To throw a proper monster mash or bash, you need only one thing, spook juice, and you're gonna need an awful lot of it for these party animals. So it's a powerful spirit distilled from human fear and the main ingredient in every popular monster drink. The bad news is that you're completely out of it. The good news is that the nearby town, Startleton, is a great place to scare some up. So you are going to send your monster disciples to scare up some of that sweet spook juice. So you are going to dust off your fear mobiles and get your scariest monsters on board. This is quite a puzzly game, to be honest. So you are going to have your own player board, and on this player board you are going to be keeping track of your monsters who are traveling through the town, and you're keeping track of various dice in order to activate certain bonuses. It is a very combo-tastic game in which, you know, one action can trigger a bunch of different other actions. So this is the deluxe version, which comes with amazing components, and you're moving your monsters along the board by using the various dice that you can. And these dice you'll be placing into fear mobiles, and you will select a die and then pass along the fear mobiles, and then select another one and pass it along. So the deluxe components, the deluxe game has these really great fear mobiles in which you'll place the dice. So this is a really great puzzly game that is very combo-tastic. To me, it feels like a roll and write game with boards and actual components that you can move around. So yeah, if you're into that kind of puzzly challenge, then definitely check out Monsters on Board. The next category is So You Want to Defeat Some Monsters Together, cooperative games. So first up in this category, we have Pandemic: The Reign of Cthulhu. So Pandemic: The Reign of Cthulhu is a 2016 game for 2 to 4 players, designed by Matt Leacock and Chuck Yeager and illustrated by Philippe Guerin, Fred Jordan, Atha Kanani, Paul Kluka, and Chris Williams, published by Z-Man Games. So this is a cooperative game in which you are trying to defeat the old ones, basically. So you are going to experience classic Pandemic gameplay, but of course with old ones threatening the world with their unique powers. So instead of curing diseases like in the original Pandemic, you are trying to seal portals and shut down cults in the classic New England fictional towns of Arkham, Dunwich, Innsmouth, and Kingsport. And you and your fellow investigators, are trying to seal every portal in time. I have never been able to defeat this game. I have played it several times and we have never once won. So I would say it's pretty difficult. But here is the awesome town. I just absolutely love the, the aesthetic of this game, and it will definitely get you into the spooky spirit. So if that is what you're looking for, definitely recommend this if you are looking for a great cooperative game to get you into the spooky spirit. So yeah, definitely recommend Pandemic: The Reign of Cthulhu. And here are just some of these monsters. And here are your investigators. Yeah, it's a great game, so check it out if you can. Next up in the So You Want to Defeat Some Monsters Together category, we have Horrified, of course. This is a 2019 game for 1 to 5 players, designed by Prospero Hall, illustrated by Prospero Hall, and published by Ravensburger Games. So in this game, you are, working against the clock in order to defeat several monsters. The great thing about this game is you can adjust the difficulty level. And by the way, I laminated these, so, it will not come like this, but I actually really enjoy these laminated because I think it really makes the colors pop on these monster sheets. So you are going to have a town in which there are going to be placed several monsters, and you are trying to go around this town trying to defeat these monsters in their own specific ways. So like, for example, for the Wolfman, you need to discover the cure in time, whereas for the creature from the Black Lagoon, you're going to be trying to move a boat to a certain location to the end in order to defeat the monster. And you are going around town trying to collect various items in order to complete all of these tasks that you need to do before time runs out. It is a really great game, highly recommend it. Here are a bunch of the standees of a lot of the villagers and stuff that you will be helping along the way. Here are some of the characters you can play as. So let me just show you the various characters. I feel like, in this game, it's always down to like the last minute. Like it can be very tense. And every time I've played it, it always comes down to like the last couple of turns and you're like, oh, can you do it? Can you do it? And we have edged out a win. But here, let me just show you all of the monsters so you can see all of the monsters that come in the original Horrified. And I am not a fan of cooperative games generally, but this is a cooperative game that I actually enjoy. So I think that says something. So again, if you are looking for a really fun cooperative game that will get you into the spooky spirit, then definitely recommend Horrified. The next game in the So You Want to Defeat Some Monsters Together category is Horrified American Monsters. This plays very similarly to the original Horrified, but of course with American monsters. So this is a 2021 game designed by Michael Mulvihill and illustrated by Victor Maristan and published by Ravensburger. And this one contains the American monsters. So let me show you the board, which is very cool. I really like the board. I like how different it is from the original Horrified. And the monsters are also very, original and different. So let me just show you the different monsters that come in the American version. So we have Bigfoot, we have Banshee, we have Chupacabra, we have Mothman, and we have the Jersey Devil, and then Ozark Howler. So again, it's going to play similarly to the original Horrified, in which different monsters have different ways of beating them. And these are the characters you can play as. And again, it comes with a bunch of different standees for the different people you can pick up along the way. It is a really cool game. Again, I enjoy it just as much as I enjoy the original Horrified. So if you're looking for a good cooperative game, I think it's different enough that it's worth picking up both of them. So yeah, check out Horrified. The next category of games that we are going to get into is Puzzly Games. And first up in Puzzly Games is Runica and the Six-Sided Spellbooks, which is a 2020 game for 1 to 4 players designed by Shannon Kelly, illustrated by Stephanie Gustafson and Tyler Johnson, and published by Foxtail Games. Now this game can be a little bit hard to get your hands on, but if you can get your hands on it, it will be so worth it because it is a really good puzzly game. So in this game, you are students at a school of magic and you are trying to complete different spells in your own spell book. So each player is going to have a spell book, and you will have this rotating disc around your spell book, which will allow you to drop in dice of different colors in different locations by rotating the disc. So let me just show you some of these beautiful dice, which have different runes and symbols on them. And in order to do this, you can also hopefully gain the help of some of these professors, which will give you special abilities. And you are trying to complete various different spells in order to get to the requisite number of points first in order to win this game. So again, if you can get your hands on this game, highly recommend it. It is a really cool puzzly game. Next up in the puzzly category, we have Castle Party, which is a 2021 game. It is a flip and write game for 2 to 4 players, designed by Josep Aliu and Eugenie Castagno, and the artist is L'Oreal, and it's published by Devere Games, one of my favorite publishers. So each player is going to have their own board, the castle, and you are going to be taking turns flipping over these various monsters who will be guests at a party, and you are trying to arrange them in a certain way in order to score the most points. So yeah, there are different modes to this game. So you have like a simpler mode and then a more difficult mode. So it is a really great small flip and write game, which, definitely satisfies the spooky game craving during the month of October. I mean, just look at the backs of these cards. How cool are they? Just absolutely love these cards with the different characters on them. So yeah, if you are looking for a really great small box game to play in the spooky season, then this is the game for you, Castle Party. Next up in the puzzle category, we have one of my favorites, Dead and Breakfast. This is a 2018 game for 2 to 4 players, designed by Rodrigo Rigo and illustrated by Luis Durant and published by Brain Crack Games. This is a tile placement game in which you are constructing your own bed and breakfast in order to get the most points by placing monsters in certain locations. So you are going to be taking turns drafting various tiles and placing them into your own bed, or in this case, Dad and Breakfast. And they have really cool spooky characters on them. And you're also going to get like various set collection points by the different placement of flowers throughout the hotel as well. So you can see flowers on the various tiles themselves, and the tiles themselves will also indicate to you what you're going to be scoring for in your own bed and breakfast once it's finished. It is a really great game, and I believe that they are coming out with an expansion for this game as well. So if you're looking for a really great family-friendly tile placement game that can be quite a bit thinky as well, check out Bed and Breakfast. Next up in the category of Puzzly Games, we have Psychic Pizza Deliverers Go to the Ghost Town. This is a 2022 game, while 2018 is the original publication date. It is for 3 to 5 players, designed by Hayato Kisaragi, illustrated by Ryo Niyama, and published by Board Game Tables. So this is a kind of like a deduction game of sorts. So you are actually going to be using the box itself in this game. So the one player is going to be the one who will be keeping track of where there are certain ghosts and pizzas and stuff located in this town, and the other players are going to be trying to successfully deliver a pizza to the house without being caught by ghosts or being sucked into some kind of a vortex. So you will have one player kind of be the game master, while the other players are going to be trying to move around this board and try to keep track of what the town actually looks like in order to successfully deliver their pizza. So if you enjoy kind of like deduction games like those, then definitely check out Psychic Pizza Deliverers Go to the Ghost Town. The next category of games to get you into the spooky spirit is hand management games. So first up in this category, we have the Bloody Inn. So the Bloody Inn, I absolutely adore this game. It is a 2015 game for 1 to 4 players, designed by Nicholas Robert, illustrated by Luis Francisco Weberson Santiago, and published by Puzzly Games. I love this artist's artwork, by the way. So in this game, you are managing a bloody inn, and you are going to have a variety of guests come to this inn, and you are trying to rob them in order to get the most money. But along the way, you might end up murdering some of these guests as well. So check out the artwork in this game. I absolutely love it. I feel like the artwork alone will get you into the spooky spirit. So while there are no monsters in this game, except for, of course, the innkeepers who are murdering their guests, it can still get you into the spooky spirit just because of how macabre it is, and the artwork is just fantastic. I just absolutely love this artwork. And yeah, so if you haven't checked this game out, you definitely should. And it also comes with an expansion called the Carnies. And here is the scoreboard in which you can keep track of how much money you have, because whoever has the most money at the end of the game will win. So definitely check out the Bloody Inn if you haven't already. Next up in the category of hand management, we have Don't Go In There. This is a 2022 game for 2 to 4 players, designed by Jeff Chin and Andrew Nerger, illustrated by Rupert Lewis Jones, and published by Road to Infamy Games. This is a really cool game, and this box actually turns into a dice tower. So that is really cool. So you are going to have some different locations in this game, and you will be placing your little workers into the different locations, trying to collect different cards, and you are keeping ghost tokens secret behind your own player screen. Ghost tokens can be negative points at the end of the game, so you want to be careful about that. And the cards are fantastic and will definitely get you into the spooky spirit. So yeah, this is a really great like set collection hand management game that is definitely geared to be played in Halloween. And you can mix and match which sets of cards you will play with when you play this game. So definitely recommend this game if you want to get into the spooky spirit. And it comes with these really cool ghost dice, which I'm trying to figure out if they're glow in the dark. I haven't figured that out yet. And this like Ouija board thing, which keeps track of who will be the first player in a certain round. So yeah, so definitely check out Don't Go In There. The next game in the hand management category is Gloom. So this is a 2015 game for 2 to 4 players designed by Keith Baker, illustrated by Michelle Nephew, Scott Reeves, and Todd Remick, and it's published by Atlas Games. So in this game, you are going to have an eccentric family of misfits, and you want the greatest tragedies to befall your family in order to win this game by having the lowest family worth value at the end of the game. This game comes with transparent cards because you are going to be playing cards on top of other cards in order to try to get the most negative points at the end, or the lowest points at the end. So let me just show you some. So here is a family. So you might have a purple family like this. And then on top of your family members, you will be stacking various cards in order to try to get that member to have the lowest value. And then whoever has a family of the lowest value at the end of the game will win. So yeah, this game encourages you to tell stories as you are playing cards. Like, so for example, let me just find a card to show you. So like this one says, was disgraced in a dance. So as you are playing this card on someone, you might want to tell a story about just how that family member was disgraced in a dance. So you can really get into the spooky spirit with this game and tell like really spooky stories about your family's demise and, you know, the bad luck that they had, which you want them to have. You want them to have bad luck in this game. So yeah, so that is Gloom. So play Gloom to get you into the spooky spirit. Now I'm going to end this video by talking about this game, Dreadful Meadows, which is coming out onto Kickstarter this month, so that if you back it, you will have it in time for next Halloween. I had been waiting for the quintessential Halloween game, and I feel like I found it. So this is coming out in 2023. It is for 1 to 4 players, designed by Lucas Adam, published by Arcus Games, and illustrated by Paul Tobin and Claire Tobin. So in this game, this is a farming game, but I mean, just look at it. It is so quintessentially Halloween and spooky. So you are going to have this board that is going to have various candies on it that you are trying to farm, and you are trying to get various candy patches in your farm. So there are a variety of candy patches, like you have these treacle teeth, you have phantom mallows, you have pumpkin pops, and let me see if I have any gummy globs to show you right now. So yeah, gummy globs, and there's even dreadful trees. So you are trying to grow a variety of candy and spend that candy on more and more pumpkin or candy patches in order to grow more. And you're trying to even get some of these harvesters so that you can grow and harvest more candy. And you are trying to fulfill concoction cards in order to score points, but your harvesters will also score you points, as well as your patches that you grow candy on. So if you want a game that can be played during Halloween, that is a medium weight family game that definitely has artwork that will have you thinking about Halloween and get you into the spooky spirit, then definitely check out Dreadful Meadows on Kickstarter so that you have this in time for October next year.